Hello, you're watching the Crypto Roundup on Proactive. Billy Farrington here with all the latest action on the crypto markets. Billy, good to speak with you. Give us an overview of Bitcoin's performance this week.
Hello, Stephen. Always a pleasure. What happened on Bitcoin this week? Well, to be honest, it wasn't the most eventful week for the ages. After a brief Monday surge, it's mostly been small red candlesticks, I suppose you could say. Wednesday's losses were the worst, with Bitcoin falling about 2.5% against the US dollar. And those losses continued on Thursday. I guess we could point to some mixed macro data emerging from the US. US inflation did come down, though not quite as much as what was predicted. Came down to 2.4% as opposed to 2.3%. Kind of a marginal difference, but nonetheless, perhaps that weighed on the market a little bit. But on the other hand, we saw some worse than expected employment data. Unemployment was higher than expected. So this is just all sort of leading up to what we can expect from interest rates. And I think following all this macro data, I think it's bolted on that we'll see another 25-point cut from the US Federal Reserve next time they catch up, which is still a cut, even though it's could have been 50 points if this macro data was a bit more hospitable. But nonetheless, that may have just been weighing slightly on the risk markets, given that it was that we're now anticipating a slightly smaller cut than perhaps we could have got. Anyway, so that's been the main catalyst really on the crypto market. Bitcoin is surging again as we speak, kind of making up for some of that lost ground throughout the last couple of days. But we're basically sort of treading water at the moment. Bitcoin's around 1% up week on week, so not too bad. Right now, spot prices are at around 61,400. That's where we are right now, treading water.
How do you expect Bitcoin to trade in the lead up to the US elections, Billy?
Yeah, like this whole treading water. I think we might actually see that continue for a little while. I predict that there might be a bit of a sideways trade going on over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, who knows what happens, but I have some reasons to predict that, because this U.S. election on November 5 obviously is such high stakes, not just for geopolitical reasons, but Bitcoin and crypto in general has a stake in the game. Trump has been courting the crypto vote for a while now, and now Kamala Harris is making some allusions to courting the crypto vote as well. I mean, if you take him by his word, and that's an extremely large if, then Trump is probably at face value the bigger ally, so to speak, of the crypto sector. Again, if, because hey, we're talking about Trump here. However, if he does win the election, I think what's more important would be his stance against the SEC and the SEC chair Gary Gensler, who he has said that he intends to fire if he takes office. If okay, again. I mean, if that happens, that could, I could expect that would be seen, looked at pretty positively by the crypto markets, given how hawkish Gensler has been against what he sees as, sort of a scam sector. He has his reasons to believe that. So yeah, I mean, up until the election kind of kicks off and we see some clarity on what the regulatory environment is going to be in the digital asset space, I expect a bit of treading water, and yeah, we can maybe see Bitcoin jostle between 60, 70K, but I guess we're going to find out.
Billy, what's in your view are some positive fundamentals for Bitcoin right now?
Yeah, in terms of a couple of positive fundamentals on the technical space, I guess there are two things that I've seen that have piqued my interest. Stablecoin market cap is at an all-time high. Specifically, if I'm looking at the data here just quickly, so the stablecoin market is around $160 billion right now. This time last year it was at about $116 billion. So that is a large increase. And so why does this matter? Well, you can look at stable coins as kind of the dry powder of the crypto space. It is more or less seen as the funds that are ready to be deployed into the cryptocurrency space. That's kind of what stable coins are used for these days, sort of a fiat to crypto on ramp. So the fact that we're stable coins are at a record high for me suggests that the dry powder ready to be deployed into the crypto markets is at an all-time high. So that's one factor. I guess the other one is the amount of Bitcoin on exchange, as in being held on the exchanges, whether that's Coinbase, Binance, what have you, is at least a 3-year low. I could, guess that it might be longer than 3 years, but that's as far as the chart goes back, at least the one that I found. And so yeah, anyway, Bitcoin on exchange, Bitcoin at least a 3-year low. Why does that matter? Well, that would suggest that Bitcoin holders are taking their Bitcoin off the exchange and into cold storage, which suggests that they don't intend to sell it. They intend to just hodl it and keep it there. And hodling, great for Bitcoin's price. So as a recap, stablecoin market cap at an all-time high. Bitcoin on exchange, Bitcoin at least a 3-year low. These for me are two positive catalysts, Stephen.
And of course, we have that catalyst of the US election looming. So hopefully we'll see some fireworks for Bitcoin post November the 5th.
All right. Cheers.
Billy, have a good weekend.
Bye.
That's Proactive's Billy Farrington.